Hey everyone, today I just want to take you through my entire process from start to finish on how I create my own thumbnails. In this video, I'm not going to have any fancy editing or anything like that. It's literally just me going through it step by step and explaining how I do it so that hopefully you'll learn something that you can incorporate into your own process for creating your own thumbnails for YouTube. I definitely don't profess to be an expert on thumbnail creation, but this is what's worked for me so far. Alright, so the very first step for me when it comes to creating a thumbnail is obviously the video idea or concept itself. And for me, this is where I store all of my content ideas just within my Notion database. And as you can see, I've got them categorized. I won't go too much into detail on all of this, but this is my ideas column. So when I get an idea, I'll just jot it down quickly right in here. And as you can see, I've got quite a few at the moment. Let's just say I want to create a video and therefore a thumbnail talking about mechanical keyboards, for example. So I'll just create a new mechanical keyboards idea. Then I'll open this up and I've got a script writing template right here, which I'll link down below so you can get that for free. It's the exact same one I use. But from here, I pretty much just try and come up with a bit more detail on the video that I want to make. And I've got a title database here that just helps me get a whole bunch of ideas. So I think the video I want to make is just around whether or not mechanical keyboards are actually worth all the hype. So I might just put in something like mechanical keyboards worth it. I might just leave that as is for now and just update my title. And then from here, the next step really is research. So I've got my basic idea down and then I want to validate my idea before I actually go to all the effort of creating it. And I never used to do this, honestly. I probably started doing this consistently maybe 6 months ago and it's definitely helped a lot. And this goes hand in hand with finding a good thumbnail concept. So while I'm researching thumbnails, I'm also researching titles. Now there's a whole bunch of different ways to research titles. The way I do it increasingly is using this website called 1 of 10. Now this is a paid subscription service. It's not super cheap, but to me it's 100% worth it. So basically what it does is it shows you outlier videos, ones that are performing better than usual for that particular channel or that are just performing well in general. So in here I'll just often type in my basic idea, which is are mechanical keyboards worth it? So I'll just type that in, search for outliers. Then as you can see, it gives me a whole bunch of videos within this niche and around this topic that are doing better than average. And the great thing about this service is that it gives you both titles and thumbnails. So I'll often just scroll through and kind of just see if there's actually a market for my video concept as a first step. Now this obviously makes it really easy. Another way that I also still use, even though it's a free method, is just to go to the incognito mode on my browser and just go to YouTube and then type in mechanical keyboard. And the reason I use incognito is just so that it doesn't have any of my browser history and cookies and stuff that could interfere with what keywords appear in the YouTube search results. So right here you can see kind of top keywords that are related to mechanical keyboard that are popular at the moment and being searched. So here we've got like ASMR, switches versus regular keyboard, review, 2024, and so on. So you could say that review potentially is related to whether or not they're worth it. And then from here I'll get a bit of an idea from the sort of first few results of what is popular in search results at least. And again, one of the main things I'm looking for is videos that are performing better than a particular channel. And one thing that I'll particularly look for is videos that are outperforming their own channel. So for example, this one here, we've got a beginner's guide to mechanical keyboards. It's got 265,000 views and he has 869,000 subscribers. So I would say this video is probably underperforming his channel. So this isn't necessarily a good video to replicate. Even though 265,000 views is really good, he's not even getting like half of his subscribers to watch the video, which means it might not be that good of a concept, which is also why I really like 1 of 10 because it shows you quite clearly, like this one, for example, on this channel, TY Coddle, it averages about 4,000 views, but this video got 96,000 views. So it was way more popular than this person's standard videos, meaning this kind of concept, is this Lego keyboard actually good, is outperforming the channel and therefore could be a good concept to replicate in my own style. From there, what I'll do is I'll just find outlier videos like this, either just through YouTube search or through 1 of 10, and then I'll take screenshots and store it in my Notion script page. So I've got a section here for thumbnails concepts, and I'll just show you another completed one that I've done recently. So let's go, for example, this one that I've finished, I've already screenshotted a few different thumbnails that I thought stood out. And as you can see, these ones are outliers. This is getting almost 3 times the amount of views that it normally would get. This one's getting 2.5, this one's getting 11.3 times, this one's getting 4 times the amount of views it normally gets. So these are all thumbnails and titles and videos, of course, that are doing better on average than what that channel does. And I've even got one of my own videos as a reference. And so this just gives me a bit of an idea of the types of thumbnails out there that are actually working for my particular niche. Because I think that's something that I used to not do well. I think I used to create thumbnails kind of just in the style of what I thought was popular. So I might have tried to make more Mr. Beast style thumbnails because I saw Mr. Beast was getting heaps of views, right? But I realized that actually within different niches, different thumbnails appeal to different people. So within the photography and videography niche, Mr. Beast thumbnails do not appeal to anybody. And I got really bad click-through rates when I created thumbnails that were in that style. But when I created thumbnails more like in this style or like this, I just got better results because it's appealing to the target audience. So if you take away nothing else from this video, then I would definitely say do research on your thumbnails before you create anything, because it will really help inform your videos. And since I've been doing this, some of my most popular videos have been because I actually took the time to put in a bit of research before I went ahead and made the thumbnail. So then from here, I move on to step 3, which is actually creating the thumbnail itself. And what I try to do is I'll try to come up with a title. So as you can see here, I've just gone through a whole bunch of different variations of what I thought would work. And again, I'll base these thumbnails based on what's working from these other videos. I'll try and look for patterns, not to copy them, but to get an idea of the patterns of things that are working in this niche. So I'll get my title and then I'll start drafting some concepts just within Photoshop. Again, Photoshop is paid. Most people have it. I find these days. I do think it's worth investing in if you are a creator. It's one of the best tools to create thumbnails in my opinion, but obviously use whatever works for you. So essentially what I was thinking was this one with the red arrow was really quite eye-catching, but also like these ones that are a bit more cinematic looking. So I kind of want to combine the two concepts. So the first thumbnail that I came up with was this one. So it's kind of a combo of both. It's got a bit more of a cinematic background, you know, it's a bit more interesting. It's got my desk set up, but it's also got that bright red arrow that really grabs your attention. And obviously it's got the settings on the screen, which is what the video is talking about. And then once I've got my base draft or base thumbnail, I'll try and create some variations. And I usually try to create at least 3, maximum 4 different variations. And I'm experimenting with creating completely different thumbnails versus just making small changes. So for my second thumbnail, I literally just zoomed it in a bit so it was a bit closer. And you'll be really surprised about the difference in results when it comes to click-through rates with small changes just like that. And obviously the smaller the change, the more you can tell what's working and what's not. So for example, if the more zoomed in one worked better, then I would clearly know closer people can see more of the image. But then I also do try to create some thumbnails that are a bit different. So this one here I created, it was a bit more similar to this thumbnail over here. It really just focused on the camera itself. Also created a couple of variations of this. One was a little bit more cluttered, had some background stuff that I just took out with AI. So I essentially got 2 variations of the one thumbnail just by adding some AI fill. And just like that, I've got 3 variations of the thumbnail that I can go and test, which takes me to step 4, and that is testing. Now this is something that a lot of people I think don't do, and it's something that I didn't do until maybe 4 months ago. And honestly, it is 100% gonna be a solid part of my entire video creation process from now on, because I think it really is that valuable. And that's A/B testing. So that's testing at least 2 thumbnails to see which one performs best. And I know YouTube has started rolling out the A/B testing natively within the YouTube Studio. I'm not sure if everyone's received it yet. I only got it maybe a month or 2 ago, and I've tested it out a bit, and I think it is good. I think I would definitely recommend using it, especially because it's free. If you don't want to pay for any extra tools, then definitely check it out and give it a go. Otherwise, I would use thumbnailtest.com. This is the one I've been using for the last probably 4 months, and I've been super impressed. So the way it works is you just hit create new test. You obviously have it connected to your YouTube account so that it can see all of your content. You select the video that you want to create a new test for, and it will show videos that are scheduled, so you can do this in advance. Just go on to the next step. You can test thumbnail only, title only, or thumbnail and title. Generally, I'll just test the thumbnail on new videos because testing the title can affect where it appears in search results. So I prefer to keep that set for the first little while at least, and just do the thumbnail test. So I'll go to the next. And then from here, you just upload your thumbnail variation. So let's just say I'm going to pretend that I'm testing these thumbnails. Go on to the next step. And then you can adjust the test speed. So you can get the thumbnail to change once a day, or you can get it to change once an hour. For a brand new video that I've just uploaded, I do it hourly, and then I run it for usually about 24 hours to get a good idea. And what it does is it'll run each thumbnail for 1 hour and then give you a comparison of all of the stats for the different thumbnails. So let me just show you what that looks like. So if we go back here, I've currently got this Sony ZV-E1 video being tested. This is the one that I was showing you in Photoshop, and this has got 8 hours left. So I just published this last night, and already we can see which one is doing the best. So as you can see, they've all been run for about 4 hours each so far, but this one right here is actually performing the best. Now, as far as thumbnails goes, not performing that well. It's only got a click-through rate of 1.46, which is pretty bad, so I might have to change the entire concept, but at least I know. And when I compare it to this one, which has a click-through rate of 0.86, that's like almost double in terms of click-through rate. So I know this one is definitely more on the right track than this one is. And even like I said, these two are pretty much identical, but this one is just a little bit more zoomed in, right? But look at the difference in click-through rate. So here we've got 1.46, and then on this one we've got 0.83, which is significantly lower. Even the view duration, so on this one we're getting over 2 minutes of watch time, on this one we're getting 1:30. So just that tiny change of zooming the thumbnail in a little bit, you can see such a drastic difference. So it gives you the average view percentage, total watch time, subscribers, likes, shares, comments, and it takes all of that into account, and it gives you this average view duration times the click-through rate score. And that's essentially what it recommends is going to be the best thumbnail for that video test. So this one currently obviously has the highest, 1800 versus 773, 678, and 305. So assuming this test runs and gets pretty much the same results, I'm going to say this is probably going to be the best. And then from here, what I often do is I'll create some new thumbnail concepts, some that are more in line with this, but again, creating variations, and then I'll run another test, and I might do it over a few days just to try to continue to optimize my thumbnails to get a higher click-through rate, because that's often one of the biggest things that affects view counts in my experience. And that leads me to the final 2 steps of the whole process for me. Step number 5 is analysis. So I generally try and analyze what's working, what's not, to get a better overall picture of thumbnails and to save me time in the future, essentially, so that I don't keep creating duds like this one. And the way I do it, again, there's lots of different ways of doing it, so you can just find what works for you. But I actually use Freeform, and I'll just go through my thumbnails, often in terms of categories. So this for me is a whole bunch of tutorial videos that I've created, and I might do another one with something like gear reviews, for example. And I'll just take screenshots of each one and just arrange them into a column. And next to that, I'll have the click-through rate. So these are the click-through rates for each of these videos. And then I use AI to analyze these. So I'll literally just take a screenshot, just like this. And then I'll open ChatGPT and I'll upload this screenshot just like this. And then I've been experimenting with using like data analysis GPTs versus just the standard ChatGPT. So feel free to experiment with AI on your own. Try different prompts. Let me know in the comments if you found any prompts that work really well. So I might just type in something like this. Here's a few thumbnails with their click-through rates. These are all tutorial videos. Look for patterns in what's working and what's not. Give me an analysis and tell me what I should do more of in terms of thumbnails that get higher click-through rates. And just simple prompts like that, I'll put these in and just see what ChatGPT gives me. And honestly, at times it's given me some really interesting insights that I wouldn't have picked up otherwise. So even here, it's already given me some interesting stuff. So it's giving me individual breakdowns for each thumbnail, which is really interesting. So here it's telling me there's a clear split with a before and after comparison. So that makes a lot of sense. Like I've definitely seen my before and after videos performing quite well. So that's something that I can keep in mind for future thumbnails. Again, it goes into more detail, like things talking about color scheme, talking about large text. It talks a bit about the lower performing thumbnails. So it's telling me that the concept for my speed editing video is solid, but the visual design is somewhat cluttered. And I think that definitely makes a lot of sense. Like I hadn't quite thought about that. So then I can take this information, even these general observations, like obviously, as you can see, it goes into quite a bit of detail. And reading through this can often just jog my imagination and give me some ideas that I hadn't really thought about, giving me a bit of a different perspective. And then from here, that's kind of where I go into step 6, which is refinement. So I'll take some of these insights, I'll make notes about what's working and what's not, especially according to category, and I'll use all of that information and data to try and improve my future thumbnails. So this might mean literally going back, like with that camera video, and recreating the thumbnails based on the feedback, and then running another A/B test through thumbnailtest.com, and then seeing if I can achieve a higher click-through rate. And then what I'm finding is over time, I'm just naturally getting a better eye for what works when it comes to thumbnails and what maybe doesn't work. Obviously, I've still got a long way to go, and I still have misses when it comes to videos and thumbnails, as you can see from my test results. But I really hope this was helpful in some way. Let me know in the comments if you've got any questions, or if you've got insights on how you create thumbnails that could be useful to other people. Let us know in the comments. We're all here here to learn and hopefully improve our own thumbnails. And if you enjoyed this video, especially this format, I know it's a bit different to the type of video that I usually make, then let me know in the comments, leave a like, don't forget to subscribe. And if you're interested in more AI related content, then I did a review of the Claude Note, which is a cool little note-taking recording device that uses ChatGPT. So if you want to check out the full review of that, then you can watch that review right here.